Morning to the Ministry and to SARU board and to our members. Thank you for the presentation. I would like to start off by asking a question on, or the comment on the legal processes underway, and the board asked us to allow them freedom to complete the process, and that they cannot put information in the public domain. I want to note that it is a long, the timelines when it started up to now, it's quite a number of years that SARU is now busy with this, and it appears Mr. Ru is taking on SARU also, not just only fighting against the university. My question, Chairperson, is in terms of the good governance structure and the principles of the King report, as SARU have presented to us, in the terms of reference, is Mr. Ru still a good citizen? Because the phrase was raised by SARU itself this morning. They want good citizens. Is Mr. Ru still a good citizen in light of the court ruling against him? Is he a risk? SARU mentioned the word risk. Is he a risk to SARU or any other organization in South Africa? And then my second question, the comment on report on Mr. Zout Murray. I would like to know, even the case on the CEO, if it was raised at the AGM, if it was discussed, because it is of national importance issue about what's happening in Western Province, border, the Eastern Cape, in fact, Western Province is under administration. I think we need a follow-up meeting here, Chairperson, on the roles and responsibilities of the administrator and the deal with Cape Town and the future of rugby in these provinces that is in question or not in good standing with SARU, if I can put it that way. What is of interest that Mr. Hoskins or the previous president have raised the question about whether the executive exco should consider suspending the CEO, but of course there was a democratic decision and there was an outcome. But it points me to the fact that someone has raised the point about suspension of Mr. Uriru. Chairperson, my question also relates to this HR independent expert, as my previous colleagues have raised it, to implement the legal opinion. Now, if they have to implement a legal opinion, which means the board have taken a decision, but the board doesn't want to tell us what the decision is, what this HR expert is busy implementing. And as SARU took a decision for confirmation on the legal opinion, what is the legal opinion? Does the legal opinion include suspension, or does the legal opinion busy with? Are they busy with a settlement out of court to release Mr. Ru of his duties? And is there a cost factor and amount attached to that, if that is part of the legal opinion or part of the settlement? And when will Parliament know? When will this committee know what has been fully implemented? What is the completion of the project in itself relating to Mr. Ru? And then the last point, Chairperson, we appreciate the transparency on the legal cost. 943,000 rand already spent. The board is busy for 6 years or more now with Mr. Ru, which is taking a lot of money and time, and I think it's unnecessary. Legal costs from 2013 to 2021, and of course, total spend of 38 million legal costs. Why, if we can have the legal cost this morning, why can't we have the details of the legal opinion? I think, Chairperson, in closing, it is very disappointing that we this morning don't have a position from SARU. The fact that they've had meetings and they promised us. So my last question is, when will we get the final report then, if we can't have it today, on this implementation and what implementation is and what the decision SARU took to release Mr. Ru of his duties? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Dennis. Honorable Veronica.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you also for the presentation. I must say, on the slide on the good governance structure, it seems as if SARU's corporate governance can be considered world-class with an unqualified year-on-year. So I do want to congratulate you on that. My first question will be in line with this. Was there any audit qualification in Rue's 11 years as CEO or remarks against him in any external or internal audit letter? And does Yuri, so on the same topic, have any access to SARU funds? The second question is, Honourable Dennis mentioned or asked if Yuri Roo is a good citizen. My question on that would be, are there any stakeholders who do not want to do business with SARU because Roo is the CEO? Can you maybe let us know how much money has SARU raised since the appeal arbitration ruling in December 21? Because I think it's important that it should be established if there is a business confidence in Roo as the CEO. What is your opinion on that? Honourable Madingosi referred to transformation as usually. I want to know what has Yuri Roo done in terms of transformation? If you can give us clarity on that one. And then another question that I think a lot of the members maybe wonder when it comes to the legal costs, the money that is being allocated to SARU from SASCO, was that used to obtain legal advice in the Roo case or not? If it's not being used, can you maybe give us a breakdown what was that being used for, if not for that? I also want, on slide 1, where it's referred to Roo only was appointed to SARU in 2010. Then there were no allegations at that time. It's for me personally, it's surprising that only after 3 years after Roo left the university that legal action was taken. And maybe we should have invited the university to also reflect why they in the first place allowed for money to be moved around within their financial frameworks, and how many audits later that they only then found it problematic. It seems to me that the university's processes are also flawed. Chairperson, and then something that's really a concern for me. I read in the newspapers that words are used like stolen money. And nowhere in do I read that the University of Stellenbosch referred to stolen money or that Roo enriched or advanced himself. And I also want to caution that there is still a court application to set aside the arbitration that is now awaiting trial. So there's no final outcome. Then there was also a remark of one of the colleagues that said that SARU has delayed to report on this matter. I want to know whether they have reported it to the minister, if he was kept in the loop, if the minister can maybe respond to that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chairperson, did you recognize my hand?
Am I back? Do you hear me? I was kicked
Yeah, now
off.
we can hear you.
Yes,
Okay.
we can hear you.
No, you can get in before when we call. I called you. You were not now. You were not in. Like myself, I'm in and out. Before Honourable Zonde and Honourable Malomana, you can take. I can take it. You now, Comrade Mamabulo.
Yeah, thanks. Sorry, Chair. I agree, you know, now we stay in rural areas, so it is very bad for us.
Okay.
Yeah, the villagers, man. No, thank you,
Can we
Chairperson.
see his picture, please? Can you see Honourable Member's picture? Thank you.
Your
Because
colleague.
you just love me, né? You know, you love me, Honourable. I'm more handsome than you, Tsebo.
Handsome, you see. There he is now. Take it off now. take it off your,
Yeah, it's
your
off.
video and then contribute.
It's off, Chairperson. Chairperson, I welcome the presentation and congratulations to the President, fresh from the box, new from the box. President, I need only two clarities or three. They are not difficult. The first one is with regard to your governance structure. I can see somewhere you have indicated provinces, and then but only Limpopo, my home province, you are saying no vote. Are they not voting? Is it because they don't have a team or what? The second one will be around your international duties. I can see they only end somewhere in November. Do you have some other international duties next year in preparation for the World Cup? Because we don't want to take a team to the World Cup which was not well prepared. Remember, we won the World Cup in 2000 and what was it? 7 or 8, and the next edition, when we were supposed to defend the cup, we took an older team there. People were very, very old. They couldn't defend the cup. And then the last one will be around women. I can see on women you are doing well. I'm trying to check as to whether are you also on grassroots development, especially in the township and rural areas. Now, personally, I want to see rugby being played there in Polokwane, in Seshego Moleji, you are Giyani, you are Malamolele, and so on. Are you on a program to develop these areas so that we get these young boys to play rugby at a very young age and we take them out of the streets because we're having problems with your nyaobe, your drugs, and so on. Thank you very much, President, and your team. Congratulations. Chairperson, you can come back.
You must not. Don't come back. Now, Honorable Zondi and Honorable Man.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I joined the queue in welcoming the presentation from the President and his team. Chair, I don't have many questions because I'm covered by my colleagues on other matters. I have few, Chair. We congratulate Chair firstly with the new leadership because the role of the minister is to appoint the board of the entity to deal with matters or to run the entity. The only concern, Chair, that I have is the legal cost of 7 million in one financial year of one case, having 38 in total. That is a concern. I think the new leadership will try to avoid further legal costs being escalated in the next financial year. But also, Chair, I wish to congratulate the entity on the findings of the Auditor General. That concludes that no fraudulent journal entries were found. I think they will be doing very well in the next financial year also, and we expect no fraudulent journals in the next financial years. Chair, I have one question on the issue of the opinions and meetings. I'm not interested in a specific meeting, Chair, because I'm not micromanaging the entity. They can hold so many meetings as much as the minister can hold a meeting in Cape Town and meeting in Durban. But at the end of the day, we want the minister to account on a series of meetings on a specific matter that those meetings were all about. But the question I have to the entity or the president and the team is, when can we expect the decision of a board based on different opinions and facts on the case of the CEO? When can we expect a decision of a board? Because the board is the board that is running the affairs of the entity. That is where my attention is being drawn, Chair. Other than that, Chair, I think I'm covered by my colleagues. I don't have further questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Zone.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Greetings to our Honorable Minister. Can I switch off my video, Chair? Thank you, Honorable Chair. Greetings to our Honorable Minister, our Honorable members, our staff, department officials, and let me also congratulate the newly appointed board members. Thank you, Minister, for doing your job. Well done, Minister, in appointing this new board. Let me also welcome the presentation. Chair, my question, it will be based...
Point of exigency, Chair. Sorry, Member Mabul, to disturb you, Chairperson.
Yes, Honorable.
I apologize to disturb, but I think this is a second member. The Minister did not appoint the board. Please, let's not take that. I think I want to clear that. Thank you very much.
Honorable Mhlongo, let me correct you. You don't do that. You wait until we have discussion. Everyone has got a right to put her or his point, and then not whilst the member is still on the platform. Let's respect the views of honorable members, and then come the second bite, and then you correct. I don't think it's professional to just cut somebody whilst he or she's on the platform.
Can I continue, Chair?
Yes, Honorable.
Oh, okay. My apology for the newly elected board members. My apology, because I wanted to say thank you to the minister, because we've got board members, a new board member, because I know that the minister is also responsible in this kind of situations. My question, it will be based on the issue of the image of SARU. Because in the presentation, it says when they appointed the Uru, he was not having allegations on the first appointment, but they've continued even after extending his appointment. So I just want to find out, is there anything regarding the image of SARU? Does this in fact have any damage to the reputation of the SARU, because he is now been given a second chance to continue leading while he's having this case? What is the damage? Is there anything that is contributing to the reputational damage of SARU on this issue of the university case? The other matter that I want to speak on is the issue that they've already spoke on the issue of the 4th May, that where the ESCO decided to appoint an independent human resource specialist to assist with the implementation of the opinion. Is there any time frame set for the HR specialist? If it is so, can we be given the dates to say when are they finalizing the implementation of the outcome? The other question is that, how will SARU strengthen its vetting process, and how will it develop system to timelessly respond to challenges of this nature. The other matter is that on the presentation, we can see that Limpopo, they are there with a non-voting status. I just want to find out how is SARU assisting Limpopo to have a registered union. The other matter is how will SARU ensure increased corporate sponsorship for women rugby? What is the progress in this regard, and what is the level of inequality of support between women and men? Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, honorable members. Now can I give it back to the president, and everyone must lower his or her hand, and we will entertain, but you must look at the time, the follow-up questions. We don't have enough time. I'm suspecting the next item also is very interesting for the members, that we must have enough time. Everyone must lower his or her hand. There's this ruler, somebody called Mr. Mamabulo, must lower his hand. Now I'm taking back to the president of SARU and the team. I thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. Firstly, Chairperson, I don't think you're hiding anything. We've delivered a complete document on the activities of Mr. Rue since his employment.
I'm having somebody who's speaking whilst you are speaking.
No, it's not by me. There's nobody with me.
It's not you. I'm checking with the host who was disturbing us. Thank you, President. Carry on.
Thank you, Chairperson. Let me start again. Firstly,
Yes.
we're hiding. We got nothing to hide, but we've just been cautious. We handed a full document with all the legal opinions and on all the activities with supporting documentations to the Minister's office. So, firstly, we're not hiding. What we are doing is protecting ourselves from against the legal principles and legal privilege. Because later, things we might say in these documents could be held against us in the court of law if this process, the due process we're busy with right now, is not complete. That's the only thing there, Chairperson. And the document is with the Minister, it's a full document. We gave all the stuff, all the opinion stuff. But we haven't completed the loop. We haven't got to a stage where we're implementing the opinion. Things could change in that process. That's why we've got this legal expert to help us in guiding us through this process when we have to deal with the CEO regarding the opinions we received. And that is why we cannot put it in the public domain. In the gallery, there are media sitting. If this thing plays out in the media, we could be sued as an organization. It's sub judice, and we're not throwing this word around loosely. We're just protecting ourselves. So I wouldn't have given this document to the Minister if we're hiding something. It's a complete document with all the details in, Chairperson. The specialist we hired is Advocate Lewis Rosen. He's an HR expert, and he's also an advocate in labor law to guide us through things. If we do the wrong steps here, we could also end up in problems. So we need to be guided through this process. And this person we appointed, and we'll be meeting him for the first time tomorrow. So, Chairperson, I think there was another question around the update on Mr. Jantjies. We don't have an update. We don't have information because Mr. Jantjies is currently employed by a Japanese club, and all the communications going via this Japanese club. If he was in the Springbok camp, I could have answered things. So we're not getting first-hand information. We're relying on the information everybody's seeing in the press currently. The legal fees, all we did was the legal cost we did. We always checked against our fiduciary responsibility and whether we flouted any corporate governance regulations throughout the process. And the last lot of expenses this year was to tell us how to interpret what has happened in court and what SARU have to do next. the impact of how the CEO perform transformation in the CEO's while it has taken office. Before the CEO joined, the organization was 70% on the wrong side of transformation and 30% on the right side of transformation. That is now reversed. And it's in our documents with the department and the EPG, those reports that were published. I'm just going through the list again. Again, we're talking about, I think there's a question about recruitment of black players. And I think our franchises speaks for itself. The bulk of the franchises represents the demographics and exceeds it in most cases currently. Mr. Adams asked a question. The delay in the report, we've kept the minister updated as things unfolded since last year. And I think we're not delaying the report. It is there. We just don't want to put it in the public domain, as I said earlier, around the legal privilege. The issue about Mr. Roux and the systems at Stellenbosch, I'm not equipped to answer those questions. I think that's something Stellenbosch can answer. I really can't talk about the Stellenbosch thing. I think that was Mr. Adams' concern. Mr. Joseph, the timelines. You know, if you look at the timeline document, there was not an outcome, and you could see in that document the reflect statements made by the legal opinions as we went wrong. There was at no time during that process, the 8 years, were we allowed to take any action because there wasn't enough evidence against Mr. Roux that we could deal with the matter accordingly. But what happened in April changed things, and that's why we've acted now swiftly. If you look at the activities in March and April on that activity board up to May, you see there's activities every week that's taking place, an exchanging of legal information between our lawyers, Mr. Roux's lawyers, and to get to a point where we are now. What is? Good corporate governance. You know, we could see that our structures lends itself to good corporate governance. All our statutory committees are run by independent people. The committee is independent and the chairman is independent. The issue about the properties and about the administration of Western Province. Western Province couldn't pay salaries. They couldn't raise any money to pay the staff. Hence the reason why we took over Western Province. If we left it in Western Province and the staff wouldn't be paid, we would be faced with another liquidation. And they wouldn't be able to participate. So, and that raises another concern for us, because if we cannot participate in these international competitions where Western Province were, we've been sued by international broadcasts and by the competition itself, because we underwrite those competitions. Hence the reason why we have to step in there. And our stepping clause is only when the organization is on the knees. We don't go in there when they're not on the knees. When we allow the organization to operate as independent as possible. Just switch to the next one, the next page. I think Mrs. Veronica said qualified audits. We have no qualified audits for the last 12 years. The CFO is the person in the organization who has access to funds, not the CEO. And again, also those funds are controlled by a committee, which is the finance committee. And there are authorization levels and checks and balances around that. No stakeholders can withdraw money from SARU. No stakeholder will lose money. Any leakages of funds? I think there was a question. There was no leakage. No, not at all. Not at all. We're adding sponsorships in turn, but we have been keeping our sponsors updated in the process we're following. Similar to what we do with the minister, we do with our sponsors, with World Rugby, and all our stakeholders. I think somebody said legal SASCOC money. We get no money from SASCOC. We do get money from government, which is normally for women's rugby and for wheelchair rugby. So I think that covers off Mr. Veronica. Then there's a question. I have reported the matter to the minister. Yes, I have been speaking to the minister and the previous minister that we spoke to at the time. Previous ministers. Limpopo is a development union because they cannot stand on their own financially, and they actually manage and control by the bulls, and they got a 4-year period to be able to stand on their own feet and without the bulls support and putting a team into the other competition. So currently they're development union. They're classified as a development union. World Cup preparations for 2023. We got lots of preparation games, and at our previous meeting, our high performance manager presented those things. So we have enough games preparation games building up to the World Cup, and we got the youth. Thanks about the team. We got a lot of youth on our side and a lot of new youngsters coming through. As far as grassroots development, we got an outreach program, Get Into Rugby, which we use in primary schools, and not the traditional rugby schools that you see, not the Model C and the private schools, but the barrier to entry into government schools is still a problem because they don't put this. There's no school sport or phys ed on their program, the normal public schools. We also have the VUCA program that is for high schools, and we do that with money that we fund ourselves. We don't have a sponsor for both those programs. I know government helps us with the Get Into Rugby program. Ministry helps us on that. I think that Mr. Zondi said we spent 7 million in 1 year. I think we never spent 7 million in 1 year on Mr. Roos' case. We have contracts and things we draft on an ongoing basis with sponsors and broadcasters and employment contracts. And there are legal things about play injuries and stuff that we have to go to court. So the legal cost is dealing with all those other issues that the CFO presented, but only 800, 934. 934.
Point of order, Chair. Point of order, Chair.
Yes, sir.
Chairperson.
Yes.
It seems like the president has someone who's speaking to him. Can you open the video and tell us? I think there's something that I don't understand.
I got a scribe writing on the board, Chairperson.
Oh, because it's like, how can somebody will tell you something, say this? Come on. I remember the president, once we thought the president of South Africa was doing that. It's either Zoom, it's not working well. Nonetheless, I
can put my screen on. I can put my screen on. I don't behave that way, Chairperson.
Honorable Mhlongo, I did hear that there's somebody who's speaking behind also. Honorable Mhlongo, correctly so, I've heard that. I was about to tell the president that if anyone wants to contribute, he must give to that somebody to assist. But now the answer is saying is the scribe. I'm suspecting the scribe is somebody who's allowed to be in this meeting, that he or she can add on in what you didn't say, because really I was about to do that. Contribute if there are gaps. Whoever wanted to add on, he or she must add on, not whilst we are talking and then this somebody talking is disturbing us all. It's not only Honorable Mhlongo. I thank you, Honorable Mhlongo. President.
Thank you, Chairperson. Did Mr. Ru damage our reputation to SARU? I think that, it's very difficult to judge that, but it has, because we were in the newspaper for quite a while. But we also have to act as a responsible citizen and follow the processes we are. And there was another one, Limpopo, against the Limpopo women's rugby support of the commercial companies. It's still difficult. We're knocking on a lot of doors. We got a special member on the board who's driving this program, Peggy Sukamalo, who drives this process for us. It's a problem. Corporates are still just sponsoring men's sports, but we're starting to break down doors. Internationally, companies are starting to migrate to sponsoring women's sport, and I certainly hope it happens in our country. But the sponsorship market generally in South Africa has dried up. Chairperson, I don't have anything else on my flip chart here, so I hope I've answered everything.
You have a team. Is anyone, those who were presenting, want to answer related questions to their presentation? Any other input?
From our team, Chairperson, I think there's nobody. That I think I certainly hope you answered all the questions. If there's any I missed, I'll answer.
Honorable members, we do have the answers. I'm seeing a hand from Honorable Mhlongo. If there's anyone who wants to, or maybe before that, let me not. I'll take your hand, Honorable Mhlongo. Let me give it to the department if they want to say something before the follow-ups. I'll note this hand, Honorable Mhlongo, Honorable Dennis, Honorable Maloman. So in that order, but not now. Can I go back to our department? I've seen all those hands which are up for follow-ups, but department, do you want to have a bite on answering or on adding any information? Minister, thank you. Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Chair. I think.
Very presentable.
Morning, Chair, and morning.
You can switch off now your phone. We are just really Nyambos, whom we know. Okay.
No, but thank you very much, Chair. And I'm sorry, where I am, there's a bit of noise, Chair. So if you don't hear me well, you'll indicate. Well, Chair, I think the board has reported really what they've been informing us about, and we have always been responding to the board that one, action must be taken on this particular matter, and urgency, taking into cognizance what they would have raised as the legal opinion from their lawyers. So I think we are on par in how the portfolio committee views the matter. And I would say, to one of the questions which has been raised, I would say that it is this matter damaging the image of rugby, no doubt about that. And that's why we're emphasizing that we're not saying they should not do things legally, but we want to see accelerated pace on the matter, and we want to see action taken. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable the Minister. Honorable Mhlongo, Honorable Dennis, Honorable Veronica, Honorable Malomane, Honorable Madlingos, in that order. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, directly to the President, what is so private about the legal opinion when the CEO matter will be heard at the Western Cape Court. Where are the documents? Because they'll be public soon. If you don't tell us now, you gave it to the minister. You know, one of the things that I don't understand, you want us to apply for PIA Act. We can do that. We are allowed. The Constitution allows me as an individual to do that. I can apply for PIA, and those documents will be out. Now, directly to the minister, I concur with you, Minister. This issue damage the sports wholeheartedly. I think I remember, that's why I've quoted Cricket South Africa. They came with the same tactics, Cricket South Africa, that no, these documents are private, these are confidential documents. But we received our own legal opinion that there's nothing private about this issue. It's not, these are legal opinions. How many are they? Minister, since you have those legal opinions, how many are they? And are we going to finalize this under your watch, since you know about this issue? As I concur with you that this is damaging sports in general, and it's damaging Rugby Association. But nonetheless, Minister, I believe ukuthi nawe Nyambos ngokuzithoba ngicela ubaphushe labantu sengibeka ngesintu ngicela ubaphushe. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you, Honorable Mhlongo. Honorable Dennis.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for the responses, and thank you for the second opportunity. Chairperson, I raised a question about the AGM, and I didn't hear a response there, whether the CEO's case was discussed at the AGM, where I think it should be discussed, and if the meeting has taken a decision on the way forward. I didn't hear that. And whether we, I think the committee can decide whether we should have a follow-up meeting with all the other unions' outstanding matters, although we've heard some information, but there is a concern and about rugby in itself, that unions are in dispute with SARU and they are not all in good standing, and which leads to disputes. I think that is a matter of concern in rugby. And then my question, second point, Chairperson, is about the follow-up meeting with SARU. How much time do they need for the committee to give them to come and report back? Because we need to know about this implementation of this opinion. I am concerned that in the President's response, he's not saying the same thing as he reported initially. It indicates there is they're not even at the stage to implement the opinion, as I heard him correctly. And the first time I heard they have this HR specialist to implement the opinion. So I'm somehow a little bit now confused where we are with this opinion itself, whether a decision has been made on the opinion, and what directive the HR have received or mandated to implement. It is different steps in the process, and I'm really not clear. So I'm asking us, how much time do they need to come and report back to this committee? And then, of course, the last point, Chairperson, just before the AGM, KwaZulu-Natal Union raised a lot of concerns like other unions, but there was a settlement out of the AGM that SARU will deal with that matter, because they were asking for a review on how SARU managed. So it was a serious matter, and I also want to know if SARU, if the AGM regarded that as serious, and when the discussions will continue for review of how SARU manage its affairs. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Honorable Veronica.
Thank you, Chairperson. I just want to come back to my one question that was not properly answered. My question was, if there are any stakeholders who do not want to do business with SARU because of Roo being the CEO, and if you can maybe give us an idea how much money has SARU raised since the appeal arbitration ruling in December 21. I said that I think it's important to try and establish if there is still business confidence in Roo and SARU for that matter, with him as the CEO. What is your opinion on that? And then with referral to the transformation, you mentioned that 11 years back there was 70 white staff members, and now it's 70 black members. Can you maybe give us a ratio between the women and men in the organization? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Veronica. Honorable Malomane.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. The Minister have answered the question, but I also want SARU to respond itself on the issue of a case, to hear from them, because we can even hear the Minister that this case is damaging the image of SARU. The other matter that I also want to clarity, because my question was related to that there will be the implementation, the HR specialist will be implementing the legal opinion. So I've heard in his response, the President, that there is no issue of implementation. But I just wanted to check whether are there any time frames that they've set to the HR specialist. If there are, so can they share? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Malomane. Honorable Madlengozi.
Thank you, Chairperson. Some of these questions that I asked, the gentleman that answered them was just, just talking over them as general, but they were very specific. I'm asking that while we are seeing these theatrics that are going on and fights and going back and forth and all that, my question was, how is SARU going to make sure that this is not happening, is not repeated, for the respect of South Africans as a whole, so that this sporting code is respected? How are they going to do it? And what plans do they have? And my other question was, are the black faces that are under this independent membership, what power do they have towards transformation of the sporting code? And my answer from the gentleman was also like, look at the demographics. They say they speak for each other. That is not what I wanted to find out exactly. What have they done? And if there's anything that they have done, can they show us what they have done, so that there is a progress of what is going on? And thank you, Chair.
Thank you, honorable members. Honorable members, by this time, we will be getting last answers on the questions. But the reality is that as this committee, we do want time frames. The reality of the matter, I'm seeing as chairperson, sometimes even other people, they even forget that I'm a chairperson. I'm not the minister of the committee, but really being a chairperson, everything it's written to me in some of the emails of last night and today. I'm mentioning some members, and when I'm listening on the question, those members are referred to these emails that are sent to me. They are being quoted that member so and so is saying this. We are public representatives, but sometimes I would love to express my views in a committee meeting. And in a way, once people wrote and say something to me about it, that so and so is saying this, I do not, honorable members, respond on that, because the platform of the honorable members is to do oversight in a committee meeting. So really, we are the Committee of Sport, Arts and Culture. And if SARU being SARU, looking after the rugby issues, this thing is taking too much. And the only thing that I can support to every member of this committee is that we want to see this thing to come to an end. And the end of it, I'm suspecting this independent somebody, the department through you, SARU, will ask the fast tracking of the issue. This is image of SARU, this is image of the leadership of the SARU, let alone of the department. We are doing an oversight to you, department. Please assist us to sit down with the leadership, the new leadership of SARU, that this issue is a national question. The transformation that you have been trying better than some other sport fraternities, it must not be taken away by this case. The case, we know the case, sometimes they do depend on the legal entities of individual and of that entity. But now, at least you are saying that you are at the end of it. We need time frames, and we will also ask the department, as they are having the fully presentation of the document, but let alone the document, we ask on behalf of the committee that the department must meet with you again as from after today, in order that we must try to close this, not disrespecting the legal advisors, but this is an issue that it needs to be coming to an end. With the rugby unions, I'm suspecting we can have another day. As I'm sitting here, I know that there are not only this province who was having problem of accounting. I was, honorable members, once attending in the AGM then, where one of the provinces couldn't account, and he was there, that province was not even allowed to be part of the AGM. So I'm suspecting it's one other thing, that one other time, Rugby, SARU, or a department, they can take us through, especially with those provinces that they can't account, let alone that you have been getting clean audit, but immediately that you have seen that one or two provinces are not doing well, maybe not today, we'll get a full briefing of those provinces and how did you solve some of those provinces. Now I'm giving to the president and the what to call and all of them, in order that now we must come to the next item on the agenda. I don't want to see any other hand now, honorable members. We've exhausted everything that we've put it in here. Department and your office through chairperson will take care to do follow-ups of the events. I thank you. I'm suspecting I'm doing my closing remarks because I don't know how long is the president going to take an injury time in this item. I thank you.
Chairperson, do you want me to respond now, Chairperson?
Yes, Honorable President.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, firstly, we take a note of the Minister's comments, and we acknowledge that the comments, and we will follow through with what is recommended. Secondly, as far as the the second from Shogo, one of the things that he asked about us, about the information, we've handed the information to the minister. Procedure, we have to follow procedure on this matter, and we have to follow to the letter of the law. If this thing goes out and it's in the public domain, it could be seen as constructive dismissal. That it gives the CEO a different avenue to follow, and it could cost us an arm and a leg. So we have to follow procedure and make sure that we're doing it correctly. This HR specialist will guide us through the procedural implementation of the opinion. Mr. Dennis asked about the discussion of the CEO's matter at the AGM. No, but we had a special meeting with the CEO, with the presidents to discuss the matter. We have dealt with the matter, and our presidents have been informed as and when the case unfolds. The issue of the disputes of the standing unions, disputes is ongoing of the CEO of the unions. It's not the CEO and the unions. The unions that have been suspended have run themselves into trouble, not paying SARS, and the guys couldn't pay the dues. Then that's the only time SARU stepped in. So it's not about the dispute between the CEO and the unions. It's a dispute between SARU implementing its constitution. And that's the problems we have with our members. The only problem is that they cannot manage their business properly. And that's why the unions are under managed person, not because SARU wants to take them out, but to do with personalities. It's got to do with the financial control of the union. Insofar as Mrs. Veronica's question was about our stakeholders, as I said to you earlier, currently we have been keeping our stakeholders informed. We have signed new sponsors since the December outcome. So we've dealt, I think, but the thing is, we have been keeping our sponsors informed about the process we're running, and they're also waiting for the process to run its course so they can to give them the necessary comfort. So yes, we have been dealing with that, and we have been keeping our stakeholders busy. The ratio between men and women in the organization on the SARU structure is 60% women, 60% men, and 40% women. Okay, can we go on then? Time frames. We have given the contract was for a month. Currently, we've given him a month to conclude the work that he's doing. The HR specialist. What else was there? Chairperson, I think whether the independent so-called people of color have powers, all the executive members have the similar power. Everyone has a vote. And everyone has the right to exercise a vote and ask any question anytime. We run the thing as a democratic structure. And so, yes, everybody has the right to raise concern.
Okay, President. Again, Honorable the Minister, we do appreciate that you put aside other commitments that you are having on a Tuesday. And we are aware that even Honorable DM, Tuesdays, you do sit in some other committees. We do appreciate that today you are with us until that time that we have asked to be released. Honorable members, this is the way that being these members, we cannot just fold arms when things are happening, but I do appreciate that immediately that we felt that there's a lack of communication from the departments and to ourselves, but the department was waiting this moment that SARU must come to them and to us to report. This is very important. I'm taking upon myself to present this portfolio committee to monitor this month time frame. Honorable members, I will with the office in this meeting come month end of whatever day, which has I'm not even sure what is this month starting off. I will ask the office communicate with the office of the president. When is their month started, and with the office of the minister, and from after that, honorable members, I'm giving a short. Whoever who's listening will call you again, SARU, to come and update us as you are hearing us that this thing, we want that it must come to an end. The image of sport in South Africa, the image of rugby, and it needs your leadership, that you must be firm and push whoever who's supposed to do what you expect that they must do. By those words, I'm taking this opportunity to say that we'll wait and see, and very soon we'll call you in the committee. We can release you if you don't want to say anything, President of SARU.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to say thank you. Just one response to the story about the KwaZulu-Natal at the AGM. That was a proposed to look at the structures going forward between amateur and professional rugby, the KZN query at the meeting, and that was the thing they asked. But I want to thank you, Chairperson, for allowing us to complete the process, and we will report back to you, and I can assure members that there's nothing we're trying to hide. We're just trying to do the thing the right way. I thank you, Chairperson, and we will get off the platform.
You are released. Honorable members, thank you again with doing your work like this. Now, according to agenda, we're coming to agenda item number 2, the department that must brief us in the National Monument Flag Project. Now I'm giving the chance to the minister of this department, and let alone that UDG will be telling us who is in here. But you are welcome, Honorable Deputy Minister Nocawe Mafu Nonzaba. We are seeing that now you are with us. Honorable the Minister.
Thank you very much, Chair, and to the members of the committee. The issue here, we are tabling today the issue of the National Monumental Flag and the process that follows. The specifics and technicalities thereof would be presented by the department as led by DG here with us. But just as a matter of introducing the subject, that one, I want to remind members of the Portfolio Committee that one of the mandates of this department is to transform the heritage landscape, amongst others, build museums, build monuments, and changing of names of apartheid and colonial names of places, of cities, and any other thing which dominate the public space. You would recall, Chair, that currently the public space in South Africa is still skewed against the majority. It still has those symbols which represent apartheid and colonialism. It is against that backdrop, therefore, that in response to this very mandate, we have been doing just that. We've been building monuments, we've been building museums, we've been changing names, and as I said, it's one of the very big part of our work. We have a whole section, heritage promotion and preservation section, which is a fully fledged section led by the Deputy Director General and the rest of people within that particular section. And we also developed the Chair A program, a program which we name, and it's one of them, hashtag I am the flag. This program fostered partnerships with a variety of stakeholders. One of them is the Department of Basic Education. In order to popularize the flag, because this is one of our tasks we need to do, not only the flag, but the symbols generally. And with our partnerships, we ensure that we distribute the passport of patriotism. If members don't have it, they can Google it, or they can ask copies from the department. It's readily available because it talks to this question of identity. Identity is very important for us to describe and define who we are through this through the occupation of the public spaces, as it were. Now, this partnership with the Department of Basic Education has seen us on the question of the flag, has seen us installing flags in all the 25,000 plus schools. And from time to time, we replenish them when they are getting old and so on and so forth. So that's part of the program. The other part of partnership is with the taxi industry. You will see, Chair, that whenever you go around, you will hardly find a taxi in South Africa without a flag, because it's quite important that we raise this issue of the flag. So the monumental flag, therefore, is one such monument amongst monuments we're building to our democracy. So we're memorializing our democracy, and we're building this monumental flag, which will be there forever as a constant teacher and informer of society about this very important symbol of our democracy. It is also a marker, Chair. It's quite clearly a marker of a break with colonial and apartheid past. It carries and epitomizes democratic values of non-racism, non-sexism, non-tribalism, and other values of our society, and shun bigotry. So this symbol embraces our foundational principles of our democracy as enshrined in the Constitution. And Chair, we believe that this monument should stand as a constant reminder toward our forebears stood, fought, and died for, which is freedom, equality, democracy, and unity. Now, Chair, we, on this very matter, not only the issue of the installation of the flags in schools, but through our program, Artists in Schools, where we deploy artists to go and educate people about the creative sector about what is contained within our within the passport of patriotism. You would have seen, Chair, if you were around on the Freedom or during the Freedom Day, that we had one school which was actually enlightening society about who we are, where we come from, our democracy, and so on. And it is a joint program, a coordinated program, Chair, with the Department of Basic Education that Cabinet resolved to bolster this program of civic education to ensure that history, proper history, is taught in school. And that process is on. The Department of Basic Education leads us on that. So I thought I needed to give that background so that we are all at one in terms of our mandate, and we can't shirk that responsibility off. We would have to ensure that we continue to rewrite the story of colonialism and apartheid in this country. The DG then, Chair, is going to take you through the details of the technical details thereof, and then we'll then hear from you, Chairperson. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister, Honorable Deputy Minister. Now let me give the opportunity to our DG and must tell who is here, and then within no time, they must take us through. I thank you.
Good morning, Honorable Chairperson and Honorable members of the Sport, Arts and Culture Portfolio Committee. And I am hosting
DG and honorable members, the minister, you know, somebody did come with ties in that when you want to be presentable, you must put tie. Hayi ngiyabancoma nivele nibe ngathi nibatsha engathi ningabaka 16 years. You are so presentable when you put your suit and tie, but also when you put your traditional attire. I cannot not say that you are presentable. Thank you, DG.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, for the accolade, and we appreciate it. Honorable Chairperson, may I greet the Honorable Minister as well as the Deputy Minister, and then just indicate those who are present in this meeting from the department, and that will be the DDGs, Deputy Directors General, and that will be Mr. Ndima, Ms. Chikotamba, Ms. Dr. Kumalo, Ms. Sumaya Khan, and then the CFO, Mr. Mkwame, and then we've got the advisor to the minister, and that is Mr. Mtobe Jamzashe. We also have in our meeting the officers of the minister and the DM, and that will be Mr. Watani, Mr. Rufewa, Mr. Simon. All of them are from the ministry. We've got Nagubonga, Ms. Nagubonga, who is also from the office of the DG as an acting director, as well as Lodwick, who is also part of this meeting from the office of the DG. Honorable Chairperson, we've got Nancy Kelelo, who is responsible as a director responsible for special projects in the ministry. Those are the people that are here representing the department. Honorable Chairperson, Minister has laid the foundation and the background to this particular monumental flag. I can just remind honorable members that this presentation of the monumental flag has always been in the past 2-3 years, since 2020, 2021, 2022 now, been part and parcel of our APP, outlining and presenting to the portfolio committee what we plan to do, including the feasibility study and the report that was done subsequent to that, as well as now in our current APP in terms of how we plan to roll this particular project out. So it's not the first time that this is being presented, and it is then now being taken through the specifics of what exactly this project is all about. I will not for now spoil what has been already foregrounded, this presentation by Minister. I will just ask that the DG, Mr. Ndima, just take us through the presentation. Mr. Ndima.
Thank you, DG. Thank you to the Honorable Chairperson of the committee, all members of the committee, our Minister, our Deputy Minister, the advisors to the Minister and colleagues. Without any further waste of time, let me go through the presentation just by indicating the purpose of this presentation, that it is to present the summary of the outcomes of the feasibility study towards the development of the Monumental Flag project. And maybe just take a minute to kind of describe what Monumental Flag concept is all about. These are flags and flag poles that are constructed at a massive scale. They display the country's prowess, pride, and patriotism, but also they commemorate aspects of history worth monumentalizing. Currently, the tallest flagpole in the world is found in Saudi Arabia, which is at the height of 171 meters. Now, some benefits of monumental flags. Why are they significant? They advance the profile of a country. They are expressive of national pride and patriotism, crucial landmarks and heritage sites, promote tourism and contribute to job creation. In fact, our study that we did, it just gave us some very conservative figures in terms of construction phase. It could provide 65 job opportunities, off-site construction, about 25 people. Transport and heavy equipment could provide 18 people with job opportunity. Engineers and other specialized functions, you're looking at 12 people. Site management and operations, about 8 people. Indirect jobs that would come in the form of retail, tour guiding, cleaning of site security, you're looking at 15. And the total estimate was 143 job opportunities. Now, what is the strategic focus of this? Our minister has spoken quite eloquently about this. This monumental flag is an answer to government's persistent aspiration for a united and socially cohesive South African society, as espoused in the 2012 National Strategy for Social Cohesion and National Development Plan. It is also the extension of the national portfolio of post-apartheid monuments, and of course, of reconfiguring the heritage landscape. Now, key questions that we've asked is, how do we ensure that the flag, a symbol of our democracy, is a heritage monument? How do we raise our flag profile as well as that of our country? How do we demonstrate our pride as South Africans? This particular project will answer some of those questions. Now, we're looking at the installation of the monumental flag and flagpole with a maximum height of 120 meters, and the flag cloth being 10 meters times 15 meters. And as the minister has spoken, this indeed will be the monument to democracy. It's going to be a symbol of our freedom, a tourism attraction, and a potential contributor to economic stimulation and job creation. Now, the slide that I'm looking at now, it's the project background. This department commissioned the feasibility study towards the development of this monumental flag. And the brief was clear. The flag should be in Gauteng. Exploration should be done in 3 to 5 locations. The flagpole height should be between 80 meter to 120 meter. And then the dimensions should be at least 10 times 15 meters. And there are phases that were followed in doing this. Phase 1, needs analysis phase. The purpose of this phase was to demonstrate the project need, the department and its financial capacity. And of course, this phase confirmed that there is a need for this project, basing it on government and departmental mandate, National Strategy for Social Cohesion and National Development Plan, the medium-term strategic framework and its program of action. It also established that there is internal capacity and procurement processes in place that could be followed in doing this particular project. It also, the budgets are aligned to demonstrate affordability. And then we also looked at option analysis, comparisons of various options for flag location and technical specification. And we looked at various spaces within Gauteng. We looked at Freedom Park Heritage Site and Museum, Union Buildings, Groenkloof Nature Reserve, Fort Klapakop, Monument Hill, and Zoological Gardens. And also we looked at the technical specification, which investigated the following pole types, the material that needs to be used. These are materials that were considered. Tapered tubular steel, lattice steel, precast, post-tensioned, segmented concrete, precast and tubular steel hybrid, fiberglass, composite materials, that is carbon fiber. Now, in terms of the site of the location of this monumental flag, Freedom Park Heritage Site and Museum, is being recommended. The South African Civic Aviation Authority approved this, largely because this is a site on its own, but also it's a state-owned site. And there will be no amount of additional infrastructure and staff requirements. And then, of course, the favorable geotechnical aspects compared to other sites, and also its high visibility. Now, there were challenges with other sites, for instance, Union Building, which is our seat of government. Here, there's active, expansive or swelling soil. That's what the geotechnical studies revealed. Groenkloof, a sinkhole. Fort Klapakop, Monumental Hill also were not approved. Zoological Gardens, active, expansive or swelling soil. So as you can see, the order in which this was approved, number 1 was Freedom Park, number 2 was Fort Klapakop, number 3 was Union Building, number 4, Monument Hill, 5, Groenkloof, and 6, Zoological Gardens. Now in terms of the material that was being recommended, the tapered tubular steel flagpole is preferred. And there are reasons for this. 1, local competence and expertise is available. It can be done here. Local manufacturing is possible. The structure can be value engineered. The tubular steel structure is aesthetically appealing. It's cost effective, short constructing time due to offsite fabrication. And then the project due diligence, it looked at legal site establishment and socioeconomic factors, including elevation investigated for Freedom Park Heritage Site and Museum as the most suitable option. The ownership of the land there, ownership is by the state. And then, of course, the South African Civil Aviation Authority, as I did indicate, as well as the South African National Defence Force, they granted the 5-year conditional structure approval for the height of 120 meters. Further due diligence required include environmental, heritage, archaeological, and terrestrial biodiversity. But with Freedom Park already, it's a a site that has actually been used before. So there would be little intervention that would be required for full-scale studies. Then the financial assessment. This will be funded from the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture, and the capital cost for this construction of the monumental flag is estimated at 22.5 million over the MTEF. So the budget of 5 million for 2022-2023 financial year, and the budget of 17 million for 2023-2024 financial year. And there are cost drivers for this particular project, which is the geotechnical investigation, foundation concrete and reinforcing steel, flagpole steel and fabrication, logistics, crane hire, site establishment, operational infrastructure, consulting fees. Of course, the sensitivity analysis, here the cost band was created indicating the worst and best case scenario cost through estimates and amendment of variables to identify and understand what impact the variables have and identify which factors need to be looked at carefully during project execution. Demonstrating affordability, the AC's financial capacity was compared to the project cost model, including operations and maintenance, which shows project affordability in that the medium-term expenditure far exceed the expected implementation cost. Phase 7, which was verifying information sign-off, resource verification report indicates the following. Sources utilized to carry out reporting regarding prior phases and sign-off from all professionals involved in conducting the feasibility study was done to confirm that they are assured of the information in the report. Procurement and implementation plan recommended by the feasibility study. It is the design, bid, build contract, which was seen to be an ideal model recommended for this project. Best case scenario projections are that the construction of such a project will take 24 months after all the prerequisite approvals, which also require 24 months have been granted, preceded by procurement of DBP service provider. So first and foremost, there must be that procurement of a design, bid, build contract. And then the maintenance and operations of the flag to be done under separate contract. Other commercial services to be let out separately, and competent parties to maintain and operate the flag once construction is complete. From the feasibility study report, the following can be drawn. Honorable Chairperson, honorable members and Minister, Deputy Minister. Alignment between the departmental mandate and the project exists. DZAC has the departmental capacity to undertake the project, has also the necessary financial capacity to undertake the project. And maybe Minister and the Honorable Chairperson, before I conclude, it's very important that I also indicate that the valorization of national symbols is not something that has just happened when we started the feasibility study. As early as 2001, when we were still the Department of Arts, Culture, Science, and Technology, we commissioned a study on the recognition levels of the national symbols. This study revealed that the population could not recognize each symbol. Secondly, it was also discovered that people did not understand the symbolism and meaning of the symbols. To this effect, the department was mandated then to popularize national symbol to all South African citizens. Some of the prominent projects that were initiated since then, and some of them the minister has also spoken to, but I just want to repeat as part of emphasis. Flag in every school, which entailed the installation of flags and flagpoles in schools. This project started in 2007. Publication of informative publications. The department researched and published a number of publications, each targeted to a specific market. These include My Country, South Africa, Celebrating Our National Symbols and Heritage. This publication was targeted to schools as a teaching and a learning tool. It also contains sample lesson plans. The National Identity Passport of Patriotism that the minister has eloquently spoken about is a pocketbook which illustrates and provides brief details on national symbols. It's an easy read and can be used for reference purposes. The same publication was also printed in Braille for the visually impaired. Posters. These were developed for schools, which include those of the national anthem, AU anthem, national symbols, and the preamble to the Constitution. Then the national anthem CDs. Versions of the national anthems were compiled on CDs and distributed to schools and the general public. National symbols exhibitions, portable informative exhibitions were developed and staged in public spaces such as public halls, museums, and some in libraries. National symbol workshops. The department is still hosting national symbol workshops to advance knowledge on national symbols. Hashtag I'm the flag, which the minister has also spoken about. This is an endeavor to remind South Africans that the flag represents their identity and that they themselves are part of the flag. This project promotes all national symbols using activations at public places such as taxi ranks, public halls, and also in schools. As you can see, Honorable Chairperson, there had been a number of activities employed to popularize the national symbols. So the South African monumental flag should thus be seen in this context. The culmination is the pinnacle of all these efforts. So the idea here is to render the key symbol, the flag, the monument of our democracy. All these attempts have evolved and gestated into this beautiful idea of implementing the monumental flag. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Thank you, Minister. Thank you, honorable members of the committee, Deputy Minister, DG. Thank you.
Thank you, DG Ndima. Honorable members, I'm putting the presentation to you to interact with it. Now I'll be giving honorable members to start to interact. Any other leadership from the department, they will assist in answering the question, giving the clarities. Now is the let me give the Honorable Mhlongo, the platform, Honorable Madlingozi, Honorable Denise, Honorable Veronica, Honorable Malomane, Honorable Adams, Honorable Zondi, in that order, honorable members. Honorable Mhlongo. Honorable Mhlongo. Honorable Mhlongo. Yes.
Thank you, Chair. Am I audible? Thanks, Chair.
Yes.
Chair, before I welcome the presentation, and before the minister leaves note 12, since we've noted his apology, I'm missing something here. I just saw basically the minister's speech. I think the minister ignored in his budget sports. I've just went through several times. I didn't see anything to do with sports, but nonetheless, just an overview after I've missed his actual speech due to network. Chair, I support social cohesion and national building, but I question the value for money on this. And I've questioned it before, I also questioned it. Roughly plus minus 5 million now to date have been spent for geo assessment, environmental impact. Who got the tender? When was the tender out? Can you have a geo study studies to be shared with us? What is the name of the company that did that? When was the tender issued? And the environmental impact study, when was it issued? And who's done that? And the tender on its own. Roughly in the entire budget, 17 million is going to 17 million is going to be allocated for installation of this monument flags. How many, in my view, Minister, I hear you, but in my view, supporting national build and social cohesion, I think, Minister, you are aware that we have small artist organization, individual, and different small projects that are silenced, that they can have a slice with a 17 million or 22 million, so to say. We have theaters in Joburg, NGOs, whereby they can start in 3 years' time to produce play rights, plus roughly minus, it will create employment of 10 individuals for roughly 3 years when you divide this accordingly, because unemployment is so high. And still on this, I believe we have to prioritize other issues and other projects. I don't think there's a lack of any individual. That's why I want to see the studies, if they're not aware how many colors our flag has. And one of the things that I wanted to find out, especially noting the duties or the vision of the minister, obviously theaters, like for an example, I know these are private. Your Hector Peterson, your Mandela House in Soweto, they're not according. Why that money must be not facilitated or channeled to those priorities? Because this is a once-off project. And why this once-off project that is going to be there, and then what's next? And then I think we can create more things that are tangible. For an example, scholarship project. That this fund can go to scholarship. We don't have artists that went to school that can benefit in this to study regarding art, study regarding heritage, study related to sport and other immunities, the sector. And I believe, Guti, I think the department must consider this insensitive input that we must just use 22 million for us, because this 22 million can do wondrous work if we can channel it well. And I still say, I believe that the minister is not in touch with the needs and the reality of what is needed to build South Africa. And we reject too much money it's going to be used, and that money must be utilized somewhere else. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Mhlongo. Honorable members, those comrade members who are going to follow, if you can do what the Honorable Mhlongo has done to show your face. We are aware that staff is saying that when we are contributing, we must show our faces. But if you don't stay for a longer because of network, you are not compelled to do that. We have seen that this morning when we started, we've been rejected, this problem of network. So the next honorable member is Honorable Mahlingozi. They've said that you must try to show our faces. But if you feel that it's making problem for you where you are, you don't stay for a long time in your veto. Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you, Chairperson. I would love to welcome the presentation of
you will need
the you know that patriotic flag.
I'm expecting Zoleka, you do hear the problem of the veto. Yes, Honorable Mahlingozi, you can switch off your video because as you are speaking, we can't hear you. It's network problem.
Thank
you.
Yeah. Yes. I am very much with the patriotism that the department is instilling in us, because we only see these things on the movies where houses and people are very much proud of their country. I think we are getting there as a country. Nevertheless, we cannot be also looking away from the problems that we are facing as a country and as a people, and especially artists and creatives today. as Honorable Nhlongo has attested that for sure there could be some of the money that could be redirected to help the artists that are still going through some hard times even today. And I think that yes, with all the patriotic stance for and with the flag, we can at least push that later, and we deal with the pressing issues that are being faced by the artists and the creative today. Having said that, Chairperson, I would love also to ask the department that look, now we're talking about the flag, and I still believe that there is one person that is still crying about claiming to be one of the creators of the flag, Mr. Hastings Nkai. I would love to ask the department if they have answered to the prior request by the claimant's legal team, which was done on the 1st of June of 2021, and what was the response, the response of the department regarding that. And the last question, Chairperson, is like I want to find out from the department's, I want to know the department's opinion with the AfriForum's commitments to the apartheid flag. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Mahlingos. We heard you, but really we are struggling with the net. The next honorable member is Honorable Veronique.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Honorable Veronique. Thank you, Honorable Member. We've seen you.
Thank you, Chair. My questions are as follows. Besides the Freedom Park and Voortrekker Monument, what are the other factors that will attract visitors to the area on the choice of where you want this flagpole? And will other initiatives be implemented to ensure that the project provides sustainable job creation and not only short-term employment during this implementation? The service provider to conduct the feasibility studies was appointed in June 2020 and concluded in 2020-2021. Can you inform of give us the information who were the consultants? Were this put on tender? And also if this is included, the consultants in the 22 million, the project in general, was this project up for tender, and if where was it put up for tender, and have you already selected a company to do this project? If you can please give us the name if you have. I do understand the potential of flags to unite, and flags, and I hear what the minister say, that this was done to contribute to nation building. But my next question is also, do you think that you achieved what you intended, or will you acknowledge that the announcement of the project now, with South Africa being at where we are, with the KZN floods and the disaster going on, the people without food, we read in the media that there's children dying of hunger, and that there's people without, how many people without jobs? We are in need of schools, clinics, sport facilities. And when you go on social media or in the media, there's a lot of criticism against the minister as well as the department for prioritizing this at this stage of the and my question is, don't you think it was poor judgment with all this people suffering in South Africa, and that this will not rather be the reflection that in the future this flag would rather remind people of the insensitivity of the ANC government to decide to do this project now when people are in dire strait and the country too?
Thank you, Honorable Van Dijk. Honorable Maloman.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Let me also welcome the presentation as presented by the department and the input made by the minister. Let me also take this opportunity and greet the deputy minister because I've already greeted the minister. Greetings, our honorable deputy minister. Chair, I really appreciate the work that is being done by the department regarding this issue, hashtag I'm the flag. As a South African citizen, also, it speaks to me to say, I am the flag. Can I switch off my video, Chair?
Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you. As a South African citizen, also, it really impressed me about this issue of a flag. It's very, very important. As we know that this a flag that was first used in 27 April 1994, it speaks something especially to us as South African. This symbol, it will make sure that it shows that as South African, we're a united nation. So I really appreciate and I support this thing of building this monumental flag. But also in doing so, I really appreciate because in the presentation, it speaks about that this monumental flag, it will promote the issue of tourism and it will contribute towards job creation. That means it will also assist us as South African towards this critical times. And if I can hear it clearly, is that it means that because now it seems as if as a portfolio committee, we're acting as if it is the first time we're hearing about this issue, but this, it was approved, if I can remember clearly, I don't know, but which month it was approved in the last financial year, which it was 2021, 2022, for this flag to be done. And my view was that it will be ending on the year 2023, 2024. And we're also busy speaking about this. We passed the budget of 2021, 2023 with this approval of the flag, 2022, 2023 with this issue of implementing the first stage of the flag. But my question, it will be to the department, how will be the how they will reverberate the monument impact in the symbolism of the flag across the nation, not only maybe in South Africa, across the nation. That's what will be. But I'm saying we'll support this, let it create job and let it sustain the job. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Maloman. The next honorable member is Honorable Adams.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I will switch off my video. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member.
Chairperson, my greetings go to all protocol observed on the platform, especially to the DM who wasn't here before. Greetings, DM. Chairperson, my questions are as follows. How is the Monumental Flag Program integrated on tourism network, and what is the projected socio-economic impact? Chairperson, and then I just wanted to know from DSEC, do they have a breakdown on the flag monumental program, who benefited from this program? My last question, Chairperson, what impact would the flag likely draw economically in quantified way? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Adams. Honorable Zondi.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, we welcome the well-presented presentation Honorable Chair, may I raise my hand to the Honorable Minister that I don't have a passport for patriotism. Maybe I will get it soon. Chair, the question that I had was to the DG and the team. Through your need analysis, did it assess the potential public reaction on the project, taking costs into consideration? But other than that, Chair, because it's a once-off project for nation building, for the replacement of colonial and apartheid symbols, for a united and social cohesion, for a democratic country symbols, without reservations, Chair, I fully support the project.
Thank you,
Give
Honorable.
me a very good, proud as a South African citizen.
Thank you, Honorable Zondi.
Chairperson,
Honorable.
mine was also up. Sorry, I lost connection, but mine was also up earlier. Thank you, Chair.
I was about to call you Honorable Dennis after Honorable Zondi. Now is your turn, Honorable Dennis.
Thank you, Chairperson. I will switch my my video off. Chairperson, I think I want to start off by welcome the presentation, and then I want to say upfront I do support the mandate of the department, and as the Minister has spelled it out, all the partnerships and how it speaks to our identity and the symbols that embraces the democratic principles of freedom, equality, and uniting South Africa. So the mandate and the principles is very important, and I support that. My question, Chairperson, is, I want to ask, why specifically 120 meter, 120 meter pole? Why not a 60 meter or 50 meter for that matter? And why a 10 meter by 15 meter? Why not 5 meters? Or the specifications and the technicalities that the department referred to. Why specific that height and that size? What would a 60 meter pole mean in terms of the same principles and the mandate and the cost? And then I would like to know, the question is the projected budget as was raised in the maintenance and the operations, because it's not a flag that's going to have a steel or aluminum or pole with a fixed flag, which is a kind of a material that is permanent. It appears that it is a cloth that needs to be maintained. And I just want to know, why could that part of the flag not be a permanent material that doesn't need that maintenance? Because the last on the last slides is indicated that maintenance is handled separately, come from a separate, will be budgeted separately. And then I do support my colleagues in questioning the tenders process and the transparency on that out of the feasibility study. And then I want to say something, Chairperson, in closing. I go to my constituency, I buy soccer balls, I buy netball balls, I buy sports equipment, but I also do buy bread and food, and like we all do. And when I buy bread and food, or when I go buy a soccer ball or netball ball, I can't just every time say, but I must first go buy a bread. before I buy a soccer ball. I need to balance it out. And I think this is what the department is doing. We need to have a balance of what sports, arts, and culture must do in the context of the monumental flag, in context of our heritage, and that is in the program and promote. So in principle, I do support. I'm just questioning why should it be that big? Why can't it be half the size and spend the money on sports equipment and support sports? Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Dennis. I don't see any other hand. I must also take this opportunity to thank or to greet firstly all the leadership from the department and the leadership of this portfolio committee. And we do thank to get this briefing, Honorable Minister and Deputy Minister. I may say, I'm a flag. In the presentation, we do see that some creation of jobs are going to happen. And can I ask that what impact on that would the flag likely do economically in a quantified way? I'm suspecting any project that can even that can create jobs, as you are aware that it's one of the problems after the COVID-19 that so many people lost their jobs. So with other things, I'm happy that this project, you did feasibility study, and I'm suspecting that the cabinet of this country through the presidency, if you did present it to the government, which government is led by the president of the country, and then it's approved through Treasury and your good self, I don't see any problem that you cannot go away if the procurement was done accordingly. As you have said, you presented this feasibility study. Go on and implement unless the hindrance is through its Treasury, and we'll hear from you as you are saying that you have been given a go ahead. Some of us, we grew, Honorable Veronica, under the apartheid government, as you are saying, ANC government. The apartheid government, they made it sure that as young as we were then, we must respect the flag of that present government. If some of you who have been born on those days in our schools, it was the subject of the flag that we must be taught. Some of us, we started to be brownies, to girl guys, to be scouts, and we were taught how even to hoist the flag, how to hang the flag, how to fold it, how
point
to...
of order, Chair.
Okay.
Point of order, Chair.
Yeah, yes, Honorable Mhlongo. I'm granting you that opportunity to raise that point of order. Honorable Mhlongo. Honorable Mhlongo. Honorable Mhlongo. Let me land and as I'm saying that now the hash I am a flag, we do support what we are doing as a department. Thank you so much. I was trying to give Honorable Mhlongo that he must raise his point of order. I'm suspecting he's got a problem of network. By those questions, now I'm putting back to you, DG, and finally DM and Honorable Minister to provide answers on the questions raised by the honorable members. Thank you. Maybe Minister, because you asked to be released, you can't, but according to protocol, we're supposed to round up. But let me give it to you to tell your delegation how are you going to handle the questions. To you, Honorable Minister.
No, thank you, Chair. I thought it's questions which they can respond to, and then I'll come thereafter. I will excite the committee.
Okay. DG, DM, Minister will close gaps which maybe are not, you were not yet talk about it. DG?
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, and to the members' questions. Would like to respond as follows. I believe that the value for money question has been raised. We have indicated that over and above the issue of the installation of the flag, for sustainability purposes, this flag is intended to be part and parcel of what we regard as a tourism attraction that will assist in terms of ensuring at the end of the day that there is economic activity that will accrue. According to research, the high value of tourism, particularly cultural tourism, and its value is that tourists in this country's estimates creates about 1 job, just for about 8 jobs, 1 tourist, 8 jobs. So when you look at the value for money and creating an economic activity, moving away from the myth that this would be just a pole, because I think the full concept is beyond a pole. It is intended to create economic activity, and there is a clear outline on how this will be done. Of course, an honorable member mentioned the issue of the Freedom Park as well as the Voortrekker Monument. Now, if you look at that issue, Voortrekker Monument is an antithesis when it was established of a democratic dispensation we have and what it projects and represents. Freedom Park is the symbol, the embodiment of our people's sacrifices, including paying through the highest price, and that is their lives, to help this country attain its freedom. And the support received from international solidarity. Therefore, having this particular flag with its additional thing that it will be able to use to generate interest will be providing this country, over and above what Mr. Ndima have indicated in the presentation, the fact that there will be also sustainable jobs and that there will be an iconic symbol that represents our dignity. If you look at the definition of a flag, you will understand on what it represents It's not a cloth. And there's a misunderstanding. And we understand where that emanates, because at this stage, the level of consciousness about what is the value of a flag is sometimes belittled and denigrated. Now, the South Africans on the other side, we fully understand and appreciate their concerns, because the realities they are facing are correct. The issue of unemployment, the issues of poverty, issues of housing, these are realities South Africans face. But we must understand how government is designed to respond to the needs of its citizens. And among others, is that there are departments with separate responsibilities. And this department, if it does not perform its functions and choose to use money to build pit latrines and uses the money to do anything else other than for purposes it is intended, the very same portfolio committee and the South Africans in general will be attacking this department for having abandoned its money. So we want to be clear on this issue, that we are not being insensitive to what South Africans are raising and their needs. But for us, it's an opportunity again to provide education around what are we responsible for and why. National symbols during the process of the TRC chairperson, and that these will become other means of symbolic reparations that we need to implement, because not everybody will get material compensation for what they went through. We are on track in implementing the mandate. The issue raised about the timing by some of the honorable members ignores the fact that we started with this project long before the floods. Therefore, it cannot be that when the project is on its process of implementation, we abandon it when government has become very clear about the response to floods and what needs to be done there. And is, as a current government, responding to the issue of the floods. But that did not shut down the rest of government to implement programs related to departments. The issue of unemployment, we all are aware, Chairperson, that it is a pain that South Africans are facing. Hence, this project, if you look at it, it has also addressed a component that this will not just be a flag imported from abroad, installed. There'll be a construction, there'll be jobs created, but even during operations, there'll be permanent jobs anticipated out of this project. So this is about our identity, and the contestation here, Chairperson, is then how do we as a department respond to the transformative nature of the national heritage landscape? I think racism, we are all aware, Chairperson, is still rearing its ugly head. Children at school just now are toying today. There was Rose Must Fall, targeting these symbolic statues that are attacking our democratic values. Hence, then, Chairperson, in the balancing act of how we can deal with the issue of entrenching South African identity, the issue of a monumental flag, having done other innovative ideas on creating consciousness, deepening it, the meaning of the flag, not the cloth and the pole, the values of what the flag stands for, is what we need to deepen. So to then say, department has not considered the issue of the plight of artists is disingenuous, Chairperson, in the fact that, as we all know, artists, we indicated even before, interventions we have as a department, including the relief and the PSP, were efforts to respond to that. We've given money values to that effect of more than 600 million rands towards that. project. So, Chairperson, we are balancing the issue of how we respond to the totality of the mandate. If you look at our APP that we presented, it outlines interventions that will support creatives and artists in various forms. And if you look in particular what program 3 states as our programs, you will realize that with the budget we have, we are spreading the cake to meet the needs that we have to for both creatives, athletes, as well as the totality of the mandate expected by South Africans of the department. We have, Chairperson, the geotech report, and we do have that feasibility study report that the committee is saying it needs and is available. Now, we will then be, I will just check if it was not sent already, that report to the committee, because we thought it would send both the presentation and the report to the committee. If not, we'll provide that report, Chairperson. Now, the question, and we welcome Honorable Madlingo's comment on the issue of the need for patriotism and building. But the alternatives offered are assuming, as Honorable Dennis has indicated, that we have to stop everything else to address one need of South Africans. Then we move ahead. And as I've said, that is not practically possible for a government where the structure of our work is allocated as per each department's mandate. To then stop and do nothing else until unemployment is addressed as a department will not be possible. That is why there are efforts even in the department to create jobs in all our programs that we have. Even the national days, for instance, create, even if it's temporary, job opportunities with the view that we are contributing towards the fight against unemployment. But we have to implement other mandates. So, Chairperson, we did respond, and I think Mr. Ndima can talk to this issue of Mr. Mkai, but we responded on this and his matter, and we believe this matter has been closed at this stage. The issue of AfriForum is again an indication of the emotive nature of how people can get stuck to what they define also as a future for them of a separatist apartheid system. For that is what that flag represented. And ours, I don't think we have to even be questioned about where we stand. We have a flag that represents the democratic dispensation. And any other attempt to undermine that and evoke the painful past we've gone through any symbol that was entrenching inferiority of the majority of this country cannot be acceptable. That is why this flag is one of the social compacts that brought South Africans together. Now, the issue of the service provider, will give that detail before when my colleagues respond on this matter. Now, I think I will ask my colleague, because the issues of the budget and why the 120 meter, let me allow Mr. Ndima to respond and any of my colleagues who would like to comment on those. Thank you very much. Mr. Ndima.
Thank you, Tichi. Tichi Ndima.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, but also thanks to my DG for really covering a wide range of questions that have been raised. Maybe let me start by clarifying something. because some of the questions, they tend to appear as if any company has been appointed to do this work. Let me just be upfront. Nobody has been appointed to do the actual construction and installation of the flag. But what I can share with the committee is this. In 2020, we commissioned the study. And yes, there is a company that was appointed to do that work. If I'm not mistaken, it was to the tune of 1.7 million, just to do the feasibility study that we have. And the name of that company is Delta Build Environment Consultants. So I just thought it prudent that I clarify that. Now, after having done that, Chairperson, because we understood the significance of this symbol, which is enshrined in our constitution, we started consultative processes where we had to go to the technical working group of the social cluster. We moved from there to the social cluster itself until cabinet. It's only on the 16th of February that the matter was presented at cabinet. And of course, the findings of the study were approved there. And then from there, what needs to then happen is to then do now a bid, allowing bids to happen. That would then begin to deal with now the actual process of construction, part of this, because when they did the surveys, the geotechnical surveys, it was more of a dipstick surveys. Now, where this is now going to be built, there's still going to be a need now to get into the details of the geotechnical evaluation, so that, and then also the environmental impact assessment, so that we know what is it that we are disturbing there in terms of fauna and flora, and also the soil type, the rock, what it can keep, what it can sustain, what it can hold, because as you can see, this is a very massive project. So I thought that let me just start there. Then moving to another area quickly, I might not just be following the sequence. The issue of the fabric that has been asked from us, whether it's going to be a cloth. Of course, the study also just made some recommendations, as you can see, in terms of the poll, what they were recommending. And also with regards to the fabric that needs to be used to represent the cloth of the flag, it's polyester, which they say it is ideal for windy weather conditions, as open weave allows most wind to pass through, also increasing durability, so that you don't have to replace it quite often or frequently. So I just thought that let me just also address that question, but also coming to the height. The height here arose out of, first and foremost, the significance of this symbol, what it represents to the South African population, but also if you have to have this symbol in the seat of government, that is Pretoria, where people aspired to actually be part of this city. It should be one symbol that when you come to Pretoria, or you're still even far from Pretoria, it greets you. When you leave Pretoria, it bids you goodbye. It should be the symbol that is above symbols. That's how this has been conceptualized. This is a symbol of symbols. So the height is also it comes from that. Now, there was an issue around, Honorable Madlingozi did raise the issue of Hastings Mqhayi, and I think we did respond the previous committee meeting, where we did indicate that there was a response to Mr. Mqhayi on the 27th of April 2021, after having investigated all the submissions that he had made. None of those were anywhere close to the flag of the Republic of South Africa. And you will recall, Honorable Madlingozi, that you even thought about the invocation of the Public Access to Information Act. And if I recall very well, I responded to Honorable Madlingozi by saying, yes, we will be available as a department to assist that process. As long as due processes are followed to follow PAIA, we will be there to provide whatever information that is required. Now, there was also a question about what are other things, and the DG has actually raised some of these issues around tourism, and then of course iconic structures like this, because this is an iconic structure that you cannot take away from other iconic structures in the world, like your Eiffel Tower. We know the economy that gets generated out of structures like this, where photographers are there to take photos. You also know that there are people who produce souvenirs around these iconic structures, paraphernalia in the form of t-shirts and the like. So there is a lot of, in fact, this study has been very conservative in actually telling us the economic growth or the economic activity that's going to happen in this space. Anyway, we were not just looking at the economics of this, we're looking at the ideological part of this, what this symbol is all about for South Africans. And I can't repeat that. The minister has done it very well. Now, I'm just trying to look at other, and then the DG has spoken about the issue of the stance of the department towards what AfriForum is doing. I can't just then repeat that. And then there was an issue about who was appointed, and I've indicated who was appointed, and the tender was advertised, tender bulletin. It's a public space where all tenders are actually advertised. And of course, the issue that Honorable Malomane just talked about, first supporting the project, but also talking about the promotion of this flag, which of course, through all the programs that we have highlighted, it has been about the promotion of this flag. But even this one, given the technological advancements that this country and the whole world has gone through, we will be using various forms of media to actually promote this particular flag when it has been already done. And I think the economic issues I've tried, but quantification at this stage, just to be certain about the quantities, it would be too early to say so. The little that the study has provided us, I think we should be kind of satisfied with it until such time that this project takes off. I don't know whether there is anything that I'm leaving out, because I've also spoken to the height, I've spoken to the material that is being recommended I would like to stop there, Chair. In my notes, I think that I've tried to respond.
No way. Thanks, Mr. Ndima. I think we can then ask, I don't know, Chairperson, back to you, the Minister of DM. Thanks.
Thank you, DG. Thank you, DG. Honorable DM and Honorable Minister. The Office of DG did respond in almost the time for do that.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes,
I will going to get DM to respond, and then I will come. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Minister, and thank you very much, Chair. Greetings to honorable members and the officials of the department. I just want to start by appreciating the discussion that has taken place here. And even through the comments and the questions that have been raised, one thing that has come very clear is the fact that there is an appreciation of #IamTheFlag from the honorable members. And one thing that we also want to stress as the ministry is that nation building and social cohesion is not an event, but it is a process. And unfortunately, as we build, there will always be competing priorities. But as competing priorities present themselves, it doesn't make us to stop doing nation building and social cohesion. Whilst we appreciate the officials have responded very eloquently to all the questions that have been raised, Chair, what we could then say is that if there is more information that is needed by honorable members that has not been submitted, we commit that that information will be submitted to the committee. And also to just appreciate the fact that even though this project seems to have generated a lot of conversation, which looks or might appear a bit negative out there, but the important thing is that conversations are very critical and important as part of nation building and social cohesion. So we appreciate the fact that this issue of this project has generated that conversation, because then South Africans can be able to talk about their issues, about their country, and the things that needs to be done. So I really think we should embrace this, and I'm quite happy with the fact that the members of the portfolio committee, whilst having reservations, but they quite understand the importance of patriotism and nation building. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, DM. Thank you for that contribution. #IamAFlag. Honorable the Minister.
Well, thanks, Chair. And I also want to echo what the DM has said, that we've had quite a civil engagement today, and, even with the points which were raised. But quickly, Honorable Mhlongo, no, there's division of labor in this ministry. So the DM during the budget vote was dealing with the issue of sport. That's why you won't see anything of that sort in my budget vote speech. There's been points about bursaries. There is scholarship on a variety of areas, be they language, be they issues of heritage and so on. We do have that, honorable members, and I want to, because most of the points have been responded to. I want to come back to the points raised by Honorable Zondi, that what you are saying about the distribution of passport of patriotism, especially for constituencies and so on, the DG and the team are noting that point. It's quite critical, the point you have raised. You also raised the point about whether or not the department didn't envisage as a risk the response or the possible outcry. in some quarters. No, we did, Honorable Member. And I must say that we are not oblivious of the price tag and the fact that the mere mention thereof would be an issue. We really didn't take that for granted. We were faced with a situation where we could have ticked boxes as we are building this monument and have some wishy-washy stuff, which in future would not be guaranteed that it would be there. But we opted to go for something which will last forever in our society. And we acknowledge that the actual budget would have raised voices and eyebrows from anybody. But as the Deputy Minister said, the road to social cohesion and broadly social progress is always under construction. It's not a once-off thing. And we have seen through the studies, we have seen some of the benefits out of this process. And one of those is that intangible value of people linked to their own symbols, aligned to their symbols, understanding the importance of national symbols, as it were. So, Chair, thank you very much, and thanks to the members of the committee. And there are things which we actually have learned. And one of the lessons I learned today from Honorable Dennis is that he goes out of his way and he buys soccer balls, netballs, and other equipment of sport. And he then raises a point that you can't, when you're supposed to be giving this particular resource, then at the same time, you juxtapose that with bread, because both need to exist, as it were. In terms of timing, Chair, I think that has been covered when this thing started. But let me tell you, Chair, in my experience, for different reasons, there's never been a situation where we are transforming public spaces and people say, no, yeah, it's the right time. There's never been a situation where we are engaging in this process. It is the budget is okay. There's never been such time, because immediately people tell you about clinics, as it has happened here, about schools, about roads, but we have a mandate. And our mandate is different from all of those things which are being mentioned as people argue their point. Thank you very much, Chair, and thanks to members of the committee.
Let me take this opportunity to thank the ministry, also the office of DG with DDGs. I'm seeing hands. I'm not sure whether these are all hands or these are follow-up questions. I've noticed the hand of Honorable Dennis and Honorable Mhlongo. If I'm giving you this chance, the second chance, tell us why your hands are up.
Okay.
Honorable Dennis.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you for the opportunity. I forgot to ask if this monumental flag, if it's going to go up, when it goes up, will it only be seen in the day, or will it be visible at night time? Will there be electrification into the poles in the flag? Just wanted clarity on that. Thank you very much, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Dennis. Honorable Mhlongo.
Thank you, Chair. It's a follow-up question, Chair. Chair,
Yes.
I wanted to, I think maybe the department must when you go to the media, I think I've raised this while I was in committee. They gave us a picture, it's like 5 million has been spent to date. And according to the presentation, they're now saying only 1 million has been spent. I think it must be corrected even on the media, because according to the media, it says 5 million has been spent to date. And can you maybe give us details, environmental study, how much did it cost? All the questions that I've asked, the assessment, impact, how much did it cost? And the companies, I think we must get that. I heard you spoke of one company, and the actual tender didn't go out. And then how many flags we envisage to have out of the, if I calculate right, if my calculation 5 plus 17 million, which is 22 out of 17 million. Thank you very much, Chairperson. But Chair, I wanted to raise just one of the things that the minister has raised, but I want to raise it differently, because I believe, Guti, yes, Honorable Dennis is saying that you must balance issues. But when you balance issues, you must see, because I only saw it while I was speaking in committee, this item. I think it's high time for the department. Let us not hear things from the media. Let us be spoon-fed by the department, and for us to get things from the media, like, for an example, the media gave us a picture that 5 million has been spent to date, just for geo study and for your feasibility studies. And now to today, it's only 1 million have been spent to date, which is something that must be right. I think we must get information from the department and to get information from the media. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Mhlongo. I'm taking back this follow-up question to the leadership of the department. You can answer accordingly, DG, DM, and the minister. Now it's your time that you must come back. The platform is yours.
DG Ndema, any comment?
Thank you very much, DG. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, and to honorable members who have asked questions. Simply question, this is going to be illuminated. It's going to be seen day and night with lights during the night, so that it's always there for people to see and enjoy. And then maybe just to respond to Honorable Mhlongo, it's very difficult to account for something that has been stated by media. But maybe let me go back to the point that I've made. For this feasibility study, we paid about 1.7 million. That is the fact, right? And then, as you could have seen, Honorable Chairperson, in my presentation, now this was more of an estimation of how we're going to be spreading this money for the construction now. You could see that I put 5 million for 2022, 2023, and then 17 million for 2023, 2024. Now, the 5 million that the media is talking about, really, it's very difficult to account for it. It might just be a misunderstanding as we presented this project and seeing this 5 million. We have not spent 5 million on this project. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable DG Ndima. Any other intake, DG? May I refer now to the ministry?
No, that is fine, Chairperson. I think Mr. Ndima was on point.
Okay. DM and Minister, do you want to say something out of the two follow-up questions?
Not really. I think the officials have really adequately answered the question. We take note what Honorable Mhlongo is saying about being given information on time so that they don't get issues from the media. I think that point is well taken. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable DM. Honorable Minister.
I don't think you saw the sign, Chair. I think I'm covered, Chairperson.
Okay. Thank you. Honorable members, let me take this opportunity again to thank the ministry to come and brief us and to present this project, that it was a national issue on the media, and now we can have say that we know now what is going on. When we were not yet having information, some of us being chairpersons, there were so many media people who wanted to interview and to get to know. I couldn't disappoint you, the committee members, because I was not able to go and take an engagement with the information that was not with us as the committee. We are appreciating this today. By saying that, I'm saying now I want to release the department, and will going to take the last item in our agenda. I don't know, we've past the time that we're supposed to end at 12. Now it's 1 o'clock. You are released ministry with the department. As we have already indicated, both of you, how do you feel about this day? You are released.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you very much.
No, thank you very much, Chair and honorable members, Minister and DM, and my colleagues. Have a great afternoon. Thanks.
So, Lega, do we still have time for minutes?
Yes, Madam Chair, we can do them.
Okay. Honorable members, it was a long day, but with good contribution from honorable members of this committee. Now I'm putting to you the minutes of the 3rd May. Can you move up in order that the members, they must see who were in attendance, in order that when I will be saying that adoption of the minutes, those who were in attendance, those who were present is the chairperson, Honorable Adams, Mama Bulo, Honorable Zondi, Mama Sibia, Honorable Mhlongo, Honorable Van Dijk, Honorable an alternate Honorable Joseph, Honorable Madlingozi, Honorable Makaula, Honorable Sibisi, Honorable Jafta, Honorable Tuli. I'm putting these minutes as we are seeing that they are in front of us, that I want somebody going to adopt, saying that these are true reflection of our discussion. I need any member who was present to do that. I've seen the hand of Honorable Zondi, Honorable Sibia, in that order.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I propose that we take the minute as a reflection of the previous discussion on the 3rd of May.
Honorable members, this is the motion by Honorable Zondi. Honorable Sibia.
Thanks, Chairperson. I'm seconding the adoption of the minutes.
Any other view? Now, if there's no other hand who's against, I'm declaring those minutes that are true reflection and be adopted. Thank you, honorable members. Honorable so the second set of minutes.
Yes, Madam Chair, these are the minutes of the 4th of May.
Yes. Yes, so.
They are on the screen, Madam Chair.
Yes, so I do see it move. The honorable members, they see themselves. Honorable members, these minutes have been that is ask now, still seeing the CB. Any other member? Any other member want to adopt the minutes? Honorable Malomane. Honorable Malomane. Honorable Malomane.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Honorable
Honorable
Adam.
Maluman.
Thank you, Honorable Malomane.
Chairperson, I second
Jumps.
the proposal.
Honorables, the minutes are being seconded. Let me take this opportunity, if there's no other view, saying that I declare these minutes are adopted and are true reflection of our discussion on that day. Do we have any other thing that you want to say, Zolega?
No, Madam Chair, and maybe just to inform members that we will not be having interpreting services for the duration of the mini plenaries because the interpreting unit is short-staffed and therefore they cannot manage to give us interpreting services. Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair.
The chairperson can close the meeting now.
Madam Chair, I think she must have connectivity issues. Let me just quickly check with her.
So, Chair, are we done? Chair? Yeah? Sister Deal. Nyabu's with Sister Deal now.
Can someone officially close the meeting, please?
Waiting for the chair. We'll check the response from Zolega.
Where's the deputy chair?
We've never nominated.
The minister has appointed them. The minister has appointed deputies and the board members.
Like that,
Elected,
I got you.
Excuse me, members.
I got you.
Excuse me, members. The chairperson seems to have lost connectivity, but she is saying that she had adjourned the meeting. I'm not sure. I see Miss. Oh, she's back. She is back on the platform. Madam Chair.
Please don't forget to take.
I'm back. The mic is.
Yeah. Does it need to be? Yeah.
This week I'll come more afternoon.
Madam Chair, can you add? Madam Chair, can you add
2 days in a week? It's better than nothing. 2 a week, 7 days.
You need a 7-day commitment.
See, I'm in a meeting even now.
I said my apologies.
Chairperson.
Members, it looks like we have lost the chairperson again.
So,
Ms. Malumani?
yes, I've heard that you said the chairperson has said he has closed the meeting, but just because maybe we didn't hear, I don't know. Were you saying so?
Yes, that's correct. Otherwise, she's having connectivity problems. I think the meeting stands adjourned.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. Nice afternoon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.